This is day 39 of Road to Fame World Cup series. 39 days, 39 players, 39 stories that went beyond football, and we saved the best for last. Not the most famous, not the loudest, not the one with the most goals, the one who, when everything was taken away, came back and won the whole thing. His name is Rodrigo Hernandez Casante. You know him as Rodri. Atlético Madrid rejected him at 17 for not being physical enough. He collected the Ballon d'Or, the greatest individual award in football, on crutches, and 9 months ago, he didn't know if he would ever be the same player again. Tonight, he lifted the World Cup trophy as Spain's captain, was voted the best player of the tournament, and completed 790 passes across 8 games, shattering his own World Cup record. Rodri grew up in the suburbs of Madrid, middle-class family, father an engineer, mother in marketing. From the beginning, his parents made one thing clear: football was allowed, but education was not negotiable. If you want to chase this dream, you also have to finish your degree. He agreed. Atletico Madrid scouted him at 11. He spent years in their academy. Then at 17, they let him go, decided he wasn't physical enough, not what they were looking for. He went to Villarreal, a smaller club, drove an Opel Corsa to training, had a half-broken mobile phone, enrolled in business administration at the University of Castellon, attending lectures on the same days he was training to become a professional footballer. Most people would have chosen one or the other. Rodri chose both. He graduated with his degree in 2021. By then, he was already one of the best midfielders in the world. Champions League winner, 4 Premier League titles, the heartbeat of Pep Guardiola's greatest team. Then 2024, Euro 2024, Spain win the European Championship. Rodri is named the player of the tournament. A few months later, in Paris, he received the Ballon d'Or, the best player on the entire planet. He walks on stage on crutches. 3 weeks earlier, against Arsenal, he ruptured his ACL and tore his meniscus, career-threatening surgery. The whole world wondered if they'd ever see the same Rodri again. Real Madrid boycotted the ceremony, refusing to attend because they believed Vinicius Jr. deserved the award instead. Rodri said this: "It was my moment to enjoy with my family. The last thing I'd be thinking about is people who weren't there." That is the kind of man he is. 9 months of rehabilitation, false starts, setbacks, a hamstring problem that slowed the comeback further, matches where he played but wasn't fully himself yet. People started asking questions. Had the injury taken something from him? Will the Rodri of 2026 be the Rodri of 2024? Then this World Cup. Spain finished first in Group H, 2 wins and a draw. Then beat Austria, Portugal, Belgium and France to reach the final. 8 games, 7 wins, 1 draw, unbeaten throughout. They conceded just 1 goal the entire tournament, becoming the first team in history to win the World Cup while only conceding once. Rodri at the center of every single match, not scoring, not assisting, just controlling, dictating, setting the tempo with calmness that made the most intense pressure look manageable. 790 passes completed across the tournament, shattering his own record for the most ever registered by a player at a single World Cup. Then the final, Argentina, Messi, the defending champions. Argentina recorded 0 shots and just 2 touches in Spain's box throughout the halftime of extra time. Then Ferran Torres scored in extra time. Spain won 1-0. At the final whistle, Rodri stood in the middle of the pitch, looked up, said nothing for a long moment. "We are shocked, even myself. I cannot express with words. It has been a very tough time." Here's what Rodri's story tells you. Greatness is rarely loud, rarely obvious, rarely the thing anyone sees coming. Atletico Madrid looked down on him at 17 and said not enough. He went somewhere smaller, kept walking, kept studying, kept believing when the evidence said he should probably doubt. Then, just as he reached the absolute summit of world football, his knee gave out. The award came on crutches. The comeback was slower and harder than anyone expected. And then he arrived at the World Cup. Not the flashiest player, not the one scoring the goals, not the one the cameras follow most, and quietly, methodically, completely won it. You don't always need the loudest voice in the room. You don't always need the most obvious talent. You need the discipline to keep walking when the door closes, the patience to keep believing when the body breaks, and the character to stay grounded when the whole world finally sees what you always knew you were. Rodri had all three, and tonight he has the World Cup trophy to prove it. 39 days, 39 stories. We started with Messi, who cried and quit international football in 2016, then came back and won the World Cup in 2022. We told you about Pele, the barefoot boy who stuffed the stock with newspaper and became the greatest player who ever lived. We told you about Maradona, who cheated and scored the goal of the century in the same game, 4 minutes apart. We told you about Rashidi Yekini, who held the net and wept for Nigeria's first ever World Cup goal and died alone before his country gave him his flowers. We told you about Bebeto, who saw his newborn son on television screen, prayed to score for him, then did it in front of the whole world. We told you about Cafu, who 9 clubs rejected and who wrote 100% Jardim Iron under his shirt when he lifted the World Cup trophy as a Brazilian captain. We told you about Dibu Martinez, who watched the 2014 World Cup final at a barbecue and won the 2022 World Cup in his hands. We told you about Roger Milla, retired on a tropical island when his president called. He answered and scored 4 goals off the bench at 38 years old. We told you about Vozinha, the 40-year-old goalkeeper nobody had ever heard of, who stood at his goalpost after drawing with Spain and wept for grandparents who never got to see it. We told you about JJ Okocha, who took his brother's invitation, walked into a German football club and said, "I'm here in my brother's place," and built one of the greatest careers in African football history. Every single one of them said something that had nothing to do with football. They said, "Keep going." They said, "The door closing is not the story ending." They said, "Your starting point does not determine your finish line." This has been Road to Fame 39-day World Cup series. Thank you for showing up every single day. If you haven't watched every video in this series, they are all on this channel. Go back, watch from day one. Every single story is worth your time. Subscribe, turn on notifications, because Road to Fame isn't stopping here. The stories never stop, the lessons never stop, and neither should you.